The purpose of the Mozart program is to give students a well-rounded music education. Anyone from 3rd through 6th grade can participate. It's different in the fact that you will have multiple avenues of music education. So you'll have your ensemble performance, you'll have your music theory, and we also have a lot of movement-based activities that will teach to the different kinesthetic styles that children may have. A typical student schedule in the Mozart program is 4 days of music. They will have 2 days of ensemble, 1 day of general music, and then another day of theory-based instruction to kind of connect it all together. Okay, so the 5th day of the week, the Mozart students will have PE, and during that day, the music teachers will then get the momentum students, the PE students, for their general music class. Typical week for the teacher is going to involve lesson planning for general music, ensemble, classes, as well as the music theory. So we would have general music classes, you would have ensemble, and then you would also have your theory study. During a typical music class, I try to hit visual, auditory, kinesthetic, as many different learning modalities as I can, because we know that students aren't all auditory learners, they're not all visual learners. So I like to try to teach that one concept, my objective, in the various different learning styles to hopefully reach every student. We have game plan curriculum, silver burdette, and it's nice to kind of mix those two together depending on what our objective is. But we also have K-8 music, which has a lot of really good songs. Legacy supplies us with the pacing guides, which is amazing. A lot of the other schools that I come from don't give you anything like that. That helps for, okay, knowing, okay, first 9 weeks, these are going to be my big objectives. Using the pacing guide and then breaking it down from there. So matching the game plan curriculum or the silver burdette with the pacing guide really helps. It's a combination of different classes, so I'm not getting one teacher's group. It's a mixture of sometimes 3 teachers, sometimes the whole grade. So what we do is I have a specific area where my students are instructed to line up and wait for me. When I come outside of my classroom, they know to come in. And then after that, we make sure to walk the students out, and then they actually line up back in their classroom lines for when their teachers come to pick them up. Class-to-class transitions is a key to running a successful class. So one thing I would say is preparation. So before I get here, the night before, I think, okay, what materials am I going to need for that class for the next day? When I arrive to school, I make sure to set up all of the materials in a place where I can quickly get to them to set up for the next class, because as we know, you have 5 minutes in between. I make sure to have all of my materials ready, so as that one class is leaving, real quick, get them ready, get my CDs, get my music, so I can be prepared for the next class. Well, I always make sure to greet my students outside the classroom. So I always make sure to have music playing, particularly music that touches on the objective of that day. So if we're doing a form lesson on AB form, I'll have a song playing that is AB form. And so as they're entering, they're listening to the music. I also encourage them to step to the beat quietly to their seat while I'm taking attendance. Well, that transition's important because music is different than the general classroom. We encourage them to sing. We encourage them to make noise at times. I think that transition kind of gets them in that mindset, okay, this is music, and this is how it's going to be in the music classroom. To take attendance quickly and effectively, I usually have my rosters for the day on a clipboard, and I will check off who's absent. And a lot of the times I do a movement activity at the beginning of class, make sure to have them moving up, moving around, to get them more focused for the objective of that day. And then I do make sure that at the end of that day, to enter the grades for that class, so I know that it's fresh in my mind, this is why this student didn't fully grasp the concept, and this is why their grade is reflected as such. My wrap-ups are usually some sort of assessment, a lot of the time informal. Poison Rhythm is one of my favorite games, and the kids seem to love that one. You would have a band teacher, and he taught band. You would have a choir teacher, and they taught choir. Whereas here, it is more of a well-rounded education for the music students as well as for the teachers. So I have to be comfortable with ensemble performance, whether that's with percussion instruments, recorders, whatever materials are at the school, as well as movement activities, circle games. I think what would have prepared me more was having experience with all of those things. I really like seeing students grow. I like seeing them be able to connect what they're playing in their ensemble to the music theory behind what they're playing. Playing with an ensemble, and it sounds great, but do I understand why the cello part may go with the violin part? Why, what is harmony? What is form? So I think connecting that to the ensemble really brings it together for these students. We have students that understand key signatures, understand harmony at a much higher level than I would even say that I had early high school. So I think it gets them that well-rounded edge, and I keep coming back to well-rounded. It all connects it together. So that's what I really like about our Mozart program. The Mozart program has helped me grow because it forces me to not be one-dimensional. So I have to have multiple layers to my lessons. I have to have quick transitions from activities. The less downtime, the more effective a lesson is, the more effective you teach to the objective. I've had many students who have developed such good skills on their instrument, and this is always my hope, is that the music inspires them enough to continue on the rest of their lives, whether it's going to be for their profession or just for a hobby. I think music is one of those things where you can do it the rest of your life. I actually have a student this year who was in our Mozart program who had a music competition. Recently he won that competition. Now he gets to go to Florida to compete in a national competition. And then that spreads to the rest of the campus. And everyone's like, wow, that's really cool. I want to be in on that. So seeing these students grow and seeing them progress and move on to bigger and better things is really my favorite part of the job.